Dr. Rand here. Let's talk about finding peer-reviewed articles in journals and just talking about peer-reviewed journals in general. You may be under the impression or the misconception that all of our library subscription journals are peer-reviewed, and they're actually not. In this tutorial, I'll clear up some misconceptions about what peer-reviewed means and how to find out if the resource that you're looking at is peer-reviewed or non-peer-reviewed. So in this tutorial, I'll provide you with some things to look for to tell you the difference between peer-reviewed journals and non-peer-reviewed journals and articles. Additionally, I'll show you how to identify non-peer-reviewed articles within peer-reviewed journals. Yes, that can be a thing also. And I'll show you what a professional journal publication record looks like, as well as what popular magazine records look like. So the records that I'm talking about includes metadata, data about data, that is included with our library subscriptions. So altogether, these tips will help you know when and if to include an article in an assignment you're writing. These tips are transferable to most resources and can be used when viewing Alabama Virtual Library resources and subscription resources from other universities and colleges. So let's get started. The first thing that we'll do is navigate to the Marks Library website. You can see here that I have the website pulled up, but if you've never been to the library's website, but you go to the University of South Alabama website, from any South Alabama website, the black menu bar will give you directions to the library. All the way on the right, if you click on Libraries, on the left-hand navigation pane, then you get a list of the various ways to access library resources across the university. In our case, we want to use Marks Library. Marks Library is the general academic library, the web page. It simply means the web page has been designed to facilitate academic research. And so this is where we are going to start. In the gray box underneath the search, click on Journal and eBook list. So this is a searchable list of all the journals and ebooks that we subscribe to. If you're working off campus, you'll have to log into the library's resources using your JAGNet credentials. So I'll demonstrate using a popular journal used in education whose title is Tech Trends. And so we'll just search for Tech Trends. And this journal includes peer-reviewed articles as well as non-peer-reviewed articles. So let's take a look at that publication data, that publication record that I mentioned earlier. So if we click on, this one, Tech Trends for Leaders in Education and Training. This is the article that I want, or the journal that I want, sorry. So click on Tech Trends, and then we have the publication record here. What you're seeing here is that we have full access to Tech Trends in multiple databases. The thing that you want to pay attention to when you're looking at this is you want to make sure you're using an access that includes up to the present, like most current access, which these bottom ones do. In these, you can see in these earlier access points, there's a full text delay of 1 year, but no worries because we can get it through Springer Nature in 3 places actually. But down at the bottom of the publication record, there's a link that says, is this peer reviewed? Yes, it is peer reviewed. Okay, so let's take a look at what does it mean to be a peer reviewed article. So let's go ahead and dive in and look at one of the articles. I'll just click on the one with current access available to us. So this is the actual publisher's website of the article. and we can look at, let's see, what do we want? We want to find the latest issue. So here we go, latest issue. We could look at all volumes and issues. Let's go ahead and click on volume 68, issue 3. And so while Text Trends is an actual peer-reviewed journal, note that there are a couple of features. So this is sort of unique in peer-reviewed journals in that this journal includes both some magazine or professional magazine kind of publications that are not peer-reviewed, but they're feature articles that show up in the contents of the journal every year or every month in every issue. Now, the first one that we see here is the editor's notes. And so these editor's notes are often worth reading, especially in special issues. But this is not peer-reviewed. So this is an article in a peer-reviewed journal that is not a peer-reviewed article. So you wouldn't want to cite the editor's notes. As well, the next one down is a column. This is a reoccurring column on creativity and technology that Tech Trends has been doing for quite a long time. So this, again, is not a peer-reviewed journal article. And so what you want to go find are original papers. And let's take a look at this original paper. So we can read the abstract here, and we can look at the full text by going over here to download the PDF, and we can open that article. And one thing about articles that are peer-reviewed, so this is a formal research paper. The formal research paper will have a sort of introduction to the problem or what the study is about, and then very soon after there will be a review of the literature, and sometimes it's called relevant literature, and then there will be something about the theoretical framework. So this reads just like a sort of a cookbook, like every research article in some way, shape, or form includes these components in a research project and in the paper. So you'll have the methods, how was the study conducted, and there'll be data collection. You'll know who the participants are, all clearly designated in the body of the text. Data analysis, what they did with the data, the limitations, so what was not included in this article, and then finally the findings, like what does it all mean, and a discussion of how it can be applicable. You'll often get tables, see these kind of tables that are reporting on the findings from the data. This is typical peer-reviewed journal article stuff. And then there will be a discussion about what it all means. And finally, there will be a conclusion to sort of let you know how you could use this information. And then, of course, the references. So every peer-reviewed research article says where they got their information from, what framework and theories they are citing. The relevant literature that was cited is all listed here in the references. And so that's typical. That's another way that you can tell that this is a peer-reviewed article. So we know that the journal is peer-reviewed, and we know that columns and regular features are not peer-reviewed. There can be opinion or casual conversation pieces, and so these are your good indicators of what a peer-reviewed article is. So they're meant to provide enough research provide enough information for another researcher to replicate the study, because this replication lends validation to the study. Okay, so their peer-reviewed articles tend to be very detailed. They're going to have the population, a review of the literature, the problem statement, the condition being explored or studied, a list of references, the methodology, data collection, discussion, and results. Now let's take a look at a non-peer-reviewed article. We'll go back to Tech Trends. Let's see, I think we can just back up here and let's take a look at Trends and Topics in Educational Technology. And this is a column. Actually, I want to look at the creative dialogue because I think this gives you a better idea of something that to you might be masquerading as a peer-reviewed article. So this is creative dialogue. And in this article, with creative dialogue with generative AI, exploring the possible. And let's download the PDF. Now we can open the PDF. And this article looks very much like a peer-reviewed article. There's an introduction, and the introduction is really long. And so from exploring failure to possibility thinking. And so now these subheadings are reading more like a book chapter. That the article is pulling our attention to the various topics being discussed in this article. But let me see, there's no actual data. This is just a general discussion, and it is based on research. It's just that this is a regular column that this person writes every issue, as I've said before. They are experts in the field. So a good article, valuable to telling you or getting about generative AI, but not a formal research study. Okay, more like a book chapter in a small, digestible format. All right, the next thing we're going to do is go back to the journal and ebook list. I just opened my tab again. And the next thing I want to do is look for the professional journal or magazine called Talent Development. And I want to we'll go to the publication record, and we can see that it is available in multiple locations through multiple resources from 2014 to the present. But look down here where it says it's not peer-reviewed. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of the articles in Talent Development. Over on the right-hand side, 2024, we can look at the latest issue, and it's even titled Best Practices. So this is a periodical, which means it's like a magazine or a journal that it's published periodically, usually monthly. And we'll open this this volume 78. Let's see, this one right here, Winning the Technology Race. Right away you can see that this is very different from the research article and the other column that we looked at earlier, in that it has a big splashy attention-getting image right in the beginning. And this is typical of professional publications, just as it is in magazines that you might purchase, like Better Homes and Gardens or Oprah or one of those, Guns and Gardens, whatever your magazine tastes are. And again, this reads very similar to the column that we saw in Tech Trends. But you can see that it doesn't have those important components that are problem statement and methodology, a review of the literature, data collection, analysis, and discussion of results. So I hope this helps you to sort of decide and have a better idea of what to look for when you're looking for peer-reviewed articles. You do want to obviously start with a peer-reviewed journal, search for it, look in the publication record, and then you want to make sure that when you're reading the article, it includes those important components of problem statement, a list of references, the methodology, theoretical framework, data collection, discussion, results. There'll be graphs and tables that are not in color normally, and there won't be any these splashy, like attention-getting and fun images, because the idea of a peer-reviewed research report is that the data stands on its own. So let me know if you have questions about this. You can email me at arand@southalabama.edu, and I'll be happy to help you with any problems that you're having. Thanks for watching.